And this realization that I would never hear a story from him hit me like a ton of bricks. Now, are we ready for this journey? Yeah? Yeah, all right. Yeah, I love your enthusiasm. So in preparation for this presentation, Billy, Frida, V, and I, we had these meetings and we would get together and discuss how this whole thing was going to come together. And in one of these meetings, I said, I would like to tell a story about my father growing up in Haiti. And they were all for it. So like any good storyteller, I sat down to write my story. And I closed my eyes and transported myself back to Jérémie, the hometown of my father. And something interesting happened. No stories came to me. Absolutely zero. I mean, I could remember bits and pieces here of him growing up, but I cannot remember anything from his own childhood. And then it dawned on me that I had never heard a story from him about his childhood. And this realization that I would never hear a story from him hit me like a ton of bricks, like a ton of adobe bricks. My father passed away when I was 10, and with him, all these untold stories. Dear guests, we often forget the importance of telling our stories. We often forget how story and storytelling shape how we see the world. It shapes how we understand the world. Have any of you here seen the movie Coco from Pixar? Yeah? I absolutely love that movie. For those of you who have not seen it, okay, there are a few. Okay, for those of you who have not seen it, in a nutshell, it's about the adventure of a young boy who travels to the world of the dead. And in the world of the dead, you have these spirits who are kept alive because there are people who are still living, who still remembers them, and who still tells their story. Unfortunately, the moment the last person forgets them or doesn't pass on their story, they fade into the ether forever. And that got me thinking of all these untold stories from countless places like in Africa and so many other cultures who have a really rich tradition in oral history and storytelling. If there are no one there to pass on their stories, do they disappear into the ether forever? There is this German saying, maybe you've heard of it. It's wer schreibt, bleibt. Yeah, how many German speakers do we have here? Okay, so you understand. For those non-German speakers, it loosely translates to the one who writes stays. Now, our world history has been told by those who have won, those who have colonized, and those who have conquered. What we know is shaped by their stories, but we all know that that is not the whole story. That is why it is so important to realize that we need to share our own stories to not only shape the future, but to also frame the past and frame the present moment. How do we do that? How do we start reframing stories or keeping stories alive? Do you have parents, grandparents, lucky enough to have great grandparents who are still with us? Ask them for their stories. Write them down. Record them. Because you're not just recording stories. You are recording a whole way of living. You are recording a whole way of thinking and being. Because when we talk about stories, we're not just talking about stories. No. We're talking about history. We're talking about moral lessons. We're talking about ancient wisdom. We're talking about valuable teachings of a whole people. Today, we're going to take you on an adventure from Timbuktu to the present to the future. And we're going to share some stories with you that emphasize that in order to look beyond now, which is the theme of this 2025 Science Week, we first need to look at the past. We first need to look at the present. As for me and my father and his stories, I also realized that it's not too late. There is someone who is still alive who I can ask to share his stories. And that is exactly what I'm going to do. As for you, I urge you to generously share your own stories as much as you can so you can rightfully take your place in shaping history and the future. In addition to your stories, tell the stories of those who came before you so that you could keep their memory, their wisdom, and their spirit alive. Thank you.